Good
Hello,
morning.
how are you today?
I'm good. I took my glasses off and now I'm like,
Like I can't see.
right. And I got my contacts in. So I'm like, y'all, is this what 35 looks like? Oh my God.
Right, I know, right? But look, you still
Oh,
look gorgeous.
thank
Gorgeous,
you.
gorgeous.
Okay.
Welcome everyone to Raising the Bar podcast. Thank you for coming back and joining us. Today, we don't really have a specific topic planned for the day. We just wanted to come on and just kind of let you guys know like who we are. Like we never really like introduced ourselves. We
We
just kind of jumped on
didn't.
this thing and just like
So,
started talking.
yeah, we're like, hey, y'all come on here and trust us. And we didn't give
Right.
y'all any background. We didn't tell y'all like why this is our passion or anything. So we kind of want to come over here and share a little bit about, why we're doing this, what our passion is, and kind of hope that you'll trust us to come along the journey. And I'm gonna let Nisha lead. I'm trying to do better about listening.
Well, I know, right? Active listening, right?
Yes,
You
I
know,
am.
and talk about listening. I don't know if you ever heard of her, Queen of Fua. She has this new book called Impeccable Listening, and
Mm-mm.
I want to read it because a lot of people have said like really great things about it. It's like I don't know, it's like active listening, but on like a such
On
higher
on 100?
higher
Mm-mm.
level, right? So I'm like,
No.
okay, I may need to get that book.
I can't even get basic listening down, so
Right. We
uh,
need some study material.
yes, I was like, let's inch into impeccable listening, okay?
Right. Okay, well, I'll start. Well, I'm Wonesha, and I don't know, I guess I am a wife. I am married to the best man in the world, of course. Oh
He
my goodness,
just about is.
together for 19 years. Oh my gosh, that's telling my age. Like we've been together forever. We have three beautiful children. I have two boys and a girl, and they are my entire world. They keep me on my toes. They are the reason that I'm here, like
Right.
it's just me. Um, my profession, I'm also a nurse. I've been a nurse for 10 years now. Well, almost 11 years.
Mhm.
Absolutely love it. It's one of those careers where you love it, you hate it, you can't get enough of it. You get burned
Yes.
out, then you figure out it's your passion. Like you can't get away from it once you take that path, that career path. It's just one of those things. That's it. That's all I got for right now. I don't know.
Ah! Okay,
Oh,
so just
like, I guess, I'll let you go, and then if I think of something else that I wanna tell
no, no,
everybody.
I'm gonna add.
Okay.
So, she's being modest. She is a wonderful mom. She has 3 beautiful babies, like she said, and she's been married to, it's like it's your high school sweetheart. He's a little older than her, and y'all, they are like the model couple. Me and my best friend Yana, we so enjoy just like looking at them and look at how far they've grown. And that's not to say that
Aw.
any relationship is not perfect, but we love y'all. Like y'all are like the complete model relationship. And
Oh,
so we
thank
enjoy,
you.
yes, we enjoy watching y'all. And it doesn't mean that y'all are perfect. It means that y'all keep trying, y'all
Right.
keep moving towards a common goal. And that means a
Right.
lot, that's like
Yeah.
a big deal.
We're
Um,
definitely not perfect. We are perfect in the
no.
sense that we know that we're not perfect,
Right, and that's all it takes is 2 people to understand that,
Yeah.
perfection is not required, and I think
Mhm.
that that's really sweet, and I think that that's notable.
Mhm.
We went to high school together. Me and Nisha went to high school together. We graduated a long, long time ago, many, many years ago. Let's not talk about that. And then we graduated college
Speed.
together. So, right?
In
It's
the
going
house.
it's going too fast. It's
Yeah.
going too fast. Sorry, I'm trying to get this lighting right in here, y'all.
Mhm.
Keep working with me. So anyways, and we graduated college together. We graduated at the same time. So we've both been in our careers for about 11 years now. And so I am divorced and I am set to be remarried. Me and Oscar have been together for 6 years now, on and off for about 6 years, and we got engaged February 14th. And
Yay,
that story,
congratulations. Woo!
y'all, that story, so just to go like I guess I could share a little bit of it now while we're here and we can get that part over with. So we met me and my high school sweetheart, which was the girl's dad. I have two girls from my ex-husband. And that was then the love of my life, like that's all I could see, that's all I ever wanted. I'm like, I knew I was going to be married young. That meant a lot to me. Family has always been a big pillar in my life. Like it's always been huge to me. We share two girls. We are on a great, like, we are co-parenting like no other. I'm like,
Nice.
yes, I love it.
Awesome. You gotta let us know like how you do that because that's like
So
one of those things where people are struggling with, like trying
very
to
much
parent.
so. Well, we
Yeah.
struggled too. And let me tell you what the problem was. After we were together for 12 years, and like I said, my high school sweetheart, the love of my life, and how we broke up, it was like, you know what? Just die. Like, that's how I felt, when
Yeah.
everything broke up. I felt like just die. So
Mhm.
a lot of our issues were we were still in love with each other. We were still trying to learn how to undo love. And
Mhm.
so we finally got that down pat, and that's been in the making, but I'm saying what we're mastering, that has been over the years. And so just setting boundaries. We never slept together after we broke up. Just learning our new boundaries, learning that if we were together, if we agreed on everything, we would be together.
Mhm.
This computer, y'all, I did something yesterday. I think I must have invited spam on here because it's like black and hold on, let me try it.
It's blacking out.
Yeah, it did it black out. Does it black out on your end too?
No, mm-mm, I
Okay,
see
so
you fine. Yeah.
I'll pretend like I don't see it. So, anyways, just setting new boundaries and understanding like if we agreed on everything, we would be together. So when they go, we try to run somewhat of the same home so the kids have some what we like to call in healthcare continuity of care,
Yeah.
where they just and that just means that we kind of try to give similar care no matter who's giving the care, that we give similar values, we give
Mhm.
similar traits to the children and help them understand that lying and stealing, just basic things, lying,
Right.
stealing,
Having
and
that
trust.
consistency of values, that's
Yes,
really important.
that's
Yeah.
that's it. So learning that and learning like, okay, that's his home, and if he wants to run it like that, that's fine. And here's my home, and here's how we
Mhm.
run my home. And my home is usually stricter, is what I'm learning from both sides, y'all. I be running like a tight ship over here, and I'm trying to relax, but at the same time, I want functional, independent members of society.
Right.
So don't get me started on that. So, anyways, that's how we do it. We have boundaries. We don't sleep together. We don't call each other after 9 p.m. Like, don't call my phone. Don't call for your children. It's inappropriate. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right.
So just setting those
Definitely.
hard boundaries that
Mhm.
are sometimes hard, but learning that, we're here for the same common goal, and that's to see our children win. So we're on
Mhm.
that same page finally, and it's beautiful. And he's about to get remarried, and I
Mhm.
absolutely love that little woman that he's going to marry. I like her out
Nice.
of all his pick. There's
Yeah.
been quite a few, but anyways, this
Look
pick.
now, don't be messy now.
I was about to be petty. But anyway, so this chick, I love her. I love them together. I
That's
love
beautiful. Mhm.
and she has respect for me. She respects
Mhm.
that I'm mommy and you
Yeah.
are their second, you're their bonus mom.
Yeah.
And so having all of that come together and marry together, and now we have Oscar, and he's fully committed to the task. It's beautiful. It
Yeah.
really is beautiful. And so back to me and Oscar. So we met super early. I was just 3 years. I mean, I'm sorry, 3 months out of my marriage. And I had been married for 12 years. So I was a broken up little piece of a little, I'm just gonna say it, a rag doll, like I was like I was all messed up, is all I'm trying to say. And Oscar
Right.
came along super early, and it was also an answered prayer. I was just like, God, don't make me wait. I didn't do anything wrong. I pursued this marriage. I did everything right. I tried to make it work. Don't make me wait for my husband. And he answered that prayer, but I left off a couple of things. And I'm trying to fast forward.
Yeah.
So he left off a couple of things, and I met him, and we've been rocking together on and off for 6 years. And here we are, about to be married. We're about to rebuild this marriage on new
Mhm.
foundation, and I'm really excited to embark on round two for me.
Mhm.
The children, um, they're great. They're 10, 7, and 5. And we run this business. Me and Nisha thought of a business years ago together too. And this is the one we actually birthed. So
Right.
and it's been so
It's
exciting.
always
It's
like, get your friend that you can start a business with. Like, that's what friendships
yes,
are for, right? It's like, you
it
find
is.
it's like finding your partner in life, right? Like
It
the person that you
really
marry,
is.
you're building an empire with, right? So the people
Yes.
that you have in your life, like build with them as well. You know what I mean? You build that community, you just,
You should be
that's a
building every relationship you have should be some kind of
mhm,
building block, whether you're building out good mental health, or you're building
mhm,
out friendship, or you're building out an empire, or you're building out real estate, or you're building out your marriage. Build, okay?
mhm.
Do it.
Yes.
And that's what your friendship should do. They should not tear you down unless it's
Right.
constructive criticism. You know what I mean?
Mhm. And
So,
constructive
anyways,
criticism doesn't tear you down, it builds you
mm-mm.
up,
It's
right?
supposed
So,
to. It's
yeah,
like
even
muscle. When you go to the gym,
mhm,
you are working you're going to kind of tear that fat down to
mhm,
build up muscle. So it's the same
right,
thing. It's the same thing
mhm,
in relationships. We're tearing off the fat, the things that's not good for us, to build up the good part, right?
mhm,
Even though
exactly.
muscle weighs more. So
Yeah.
sometimes you don't be wanting that muscle. You be like,
Mhm.
I'll just take the fat.
Right. You hear them talk about, like, when you go to the gym and, like, you're doing all this working out and you're losing weight, and then all of a sudden, like, you stop losing weight and you
Hmm.
think that what you're doing isn't enough, and it's like, no, you're building muscle. So just because, you lost 2 pounds, but now you gained 3 pounds, that's 3 pounds of
It's
muscle and not
it feels so inappropriate.
It does, so that's why you can't always, like, step on the scale and gauge your workouts and your
Your
fitness,
progress.
your progress, yeah, from that scale. So, like, that's one thing I stopped doing is standing on that scale. Like,
It's
I'll
dangerous.
just
It's
yeah. Like, I may
so
step on,
don't
like, every now and again, like, maybe, like, once every, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks or so just to
yeah.
kinda, make sure those
I just try to do it with my clothes, like, to figure
yeah.
out, like, if my clothes too tight, I'm like, "Okay, I know this ain't going the right way." Like, I gotta change it up again. And to mirror
Mhm.
that with life, instead of don't weigh your scale is not other people, so
Mhm.
let's mirror that with life. Your scale, you don't step on the scale and view your progress through other people's progress. You can't say, "Well, so and so is doing this." That's not your scale. That's not your scale. Don't look at that one.
Mhm.
We're not stepping on that. What did you do? And have you made progress to where you thought you want to be?
Right.
And so that leads us to the next thing. We're life coaches.
Mhm.
We're here to tell you, and it's not like we have this great medical advice or like we're doing everything so perfect. We're just here to share that you're not alone. So
Mhm.
we want to help coach you through whatever season of life you're in. And and we're not trying to beat you with the Bible. We're faith. Well, I'm a faith believer. I try not to talk for Nisha, y'all. She's so like
Okay.
she is, yeah, sorry. So we believe
Mhm.
that
I mean, I don't
we
want people to think that I'm, like, anti.
no,
You're like,
no,
"I'm faith, but I'm not gonna speak Ephesian." Like
because I can't. That's not
I know,
fair.
I know,
That's
I
not
know.
fair. So that's
But,
all I'm
I mean, I have, my faith and I have my spirituality, and I think I'm a little more fluid in where I am with, just my relationship with God and things like
yeah.
that. So I'm not I don't tote my Bible around like my armor shield, which, isn't a negative thing, but, I have, like,
That's
I
just
grew
not
up
your
in the church,
walk.
I grew up in the church, my father is a deacon, um, I did not like
Yeah,
going
I
to
didn't
church
even
when
know
I was
that.
little. Yeah, yeah, my dad's a deacon. Yeah, the church that he's been going to for forever since before I was born. So that's where I grew up. I always didn't want to go to church, but I did learn a lot of lessons,
Why? Why you didn't wanna
I
go?
don't know. Like I just did not want to go. Oh my gosh, some of the funniest stories I can tell you when I was little. Like every Sunday, of course we had to get up. My dad was like, y'all get up. We had to put on the dresses and the stockings with the white church heels, all of that,
So
right?
cute.
The Saturday before we got our hair done, like, we had to be in church because we had to sing in the choir, we had to go to Sunday school, all of that. And for some reason, I just did not like to go. And, I just went through my rebellious stage where I was just like, I'm not going. Like, I mean, he tried everything, punishments, spankings, everything. I was like, no, I'm not going. And in opposite of that, since I did not go to church on Sundays, my mother always cooked like big, huge meals on Sundays. Sundays were, the days where she cooked and everybody ate. So I learned a lot of my, I guess, homemaking skills and cooking from my mother on Sundays because that's the time that we had together, just me and her, because everybody else went to church and me and her stayed home and we cooked and did that whole thing. So I think that played a big role on just how I am in my house
It
today,
does.
so
It makes a little bit more sense, like,
yeah.
things make a little bit more sense. I'm like, I and you see, like, the introduction is like, I never knew that. I never
Yeah, I know
knew.
I'm so secretive, like, I don't wanna say I'm secretive,
No,
but
nuh-uh, you
I
are like, no, you're top secret for sure. Like, this girl, you think
yeah,
you working, you need security clearance to just
mhm,
know that she's a nurse,
definitely.
okay? So y'all been blessed today, okay?
Exactly. Like I
She
only
just
let people that are close to me, people that I trust, people who have just like good energy, good vibes.
right,
That's who I
right.
let into my circle because you
That's
can't let
good.
everybody in.
No, you
You
should
just
not.
can't because everybody's not, they don't have your best interest at heart, whether they are cognizant of it, whether they know that they are just toxic individuals or not.
Right, right,
You have to be discerning on who you let in your life and who you let know what you got going on in your life because you may be stacking your life up for all the blessings that God has coming your way. You may be doing everything that you need to
trying,
do be on that right path, and you bring the
right.
wrong person into your life, and that can steer you off your path. It can block
It
things for
does.
you. You know what I mean? It's so many things that can happen. So you just have to be discerning, and you have to, just be mindful of who you have around you.
Right. I
Mhm.
agree 100% because I think I'm the total opposite. I will share my entire life. Just sit down for 5 minutes and I got you. And that's if I feel pulled. I'm getting a little bit better with what you said with discernment because I will tell you my whole life. And then when you cut me with it, I'll be like, ow. But I move on. I'll be like, okay, she's stupid.
Mm.
Okay. Moving on.
But some people are built for that. You know what I mean? Like you're resilient, just like you said. Like you cut me with it, but then I move on from it. Like me, I'm
Yes.
not a person that can like move on that easily from things like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Because I think for me, I know that I care with my whole heart. Like if
Yeah.
you come in my life, like I'm gonna give all of me to you. You know what I mean? Like whether
Oh,
in little bits or
see.
not, whether you know it or not, it's like if I'm dedicated to my friendships, like you have me, like whether I tell you or whatever, like, if you call me at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna solve this situation. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right. But you
And
also keep friends that don't call you at 3 o'clock in the morning. You like, well, don't be too needy.
right.
So that
Right.
but
You
that's
got that
good.
balance. Yeah. But like you
Yes.
said, like, if you have people who you give your heart to and then they betray you, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or they, do something that has a negative impact in your life, like, it hurts, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you give so much to someone and
Right.
then they, just
Yeah.
tear you
And that's
down. It's
any
just like, dang it.
relationship.
Yeah. So
That's
that's why
any relationship.
I'm very discerning about who I let in my circle because it's like once you're in with me, it's like you're good. You know what I mean? Like you're good. Like I mean, like I'm loyal. I'm
She
just like one of
is,
those
and she
loyal
can cook
people.
good too. Speaking
I
about Sunday
can. I
dinner, she
love to
can cook
cook.
too, y'all.
Yeah. If
And
I
it
cook for you, that means that you're special to me. That's just how it is. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Mhm.
we see. So, me and Yana was talking
Right.
about, the dinner we had because we were talking about at the end of the year, y'all, we do because these kids are a lot, we do a little party at the end of each year, kinda
Mhm.
to celebrate that we made it, that the kids made it to the next grade level, and we made it through,
Right. Mhm.
So, we were talking about when you cooked, and she was like, "We had the end of the year party at Nisha's house when she cooked." I was like, "Oh, yeah, she
Mhm.
did cook good food.
Mhm.
I remember now." Y'all, I
Yeah.
have selective memory like a mug, okay? I would delete stuff, but she can cook. She's great. And I think having people on the team and having people around you, just positive, like you said, just positive,
Mhm.
influential people around you is what lifts you up. You are not great alone. You not
Mhm.
Miss Boss everything alone. What you are
Right.
is trying to be superwoman, and it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna
Mhm.
last. You want to build something that will sustain, that will last. And I think having you around is what does that, and
Mhm.
um having I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this. Having everyone, in my circle around does that for me. I'm
Mhm.
not great alone.
Right.
So anyways, I'm a respiratory therapist. That is really cool because I get to help people breathe. And a lot of people think I'm a nurse. I'm working on that. I think that's a nice job to have too, because what you have is a lot of job opportunities, and
Mhm.
that's me. That's what I like.
Mhm.
I don't like people to
Options.
tell me yes. I was like, I love options. Don't try to put me in a box. I hate
Yeah.
being in boxes. I'm very I honestly like what I feel like I'm a hippie without the weed, like I don't smoke weed.
You're a free spirit.
I
Yeah.
am a
Yeah.
complete free spirit. Don't
Mhm.
lock me down. Don't try to cage me.
Right.
Um, I don't do well in cages. So that has been really my
Yeah,
own
me
little
either.
journey. Yes.
Mhm.
So I think that's where we connect on that. Like, just
Mhm.
there's so much life out here. And so we just wanted to tell y'all a little bit about why we do what we do. And our passion is people, as you could hear. She says when you come along beside her, that's what you're going to get the best of her. And I am learning to kind of not cast my pearls on swine. That's biblical, and he says, discern who you're giving, and your pearls are your story. Your pearls are relationships. Your pearls are every aspect of life. Your children, don't cast it on swine. People who can't handle your story, people who are jealous of your story. And
Mhm.
believe it or not, you'll be surprised how many people are jealous. You're like,
Yeah.
all you got to do is come with me, and I'll show you how to do it.
Right.
But they
Exactly.
might be lazy. They might not have the strength that they don't realize the strength that they have within, that God has
Mhm.
given them. They don't realize that they can do it um with people working beside them. So there's so many reasons why people are
Mhm.
jealous, but we're not here to talk about that today.
Yeah. But
So
that
our
do like kind of brings it up about boundaries though. You know what I mean? Because I think like a lot of stuff that we've like talked about, like just the idea of having boundaries. I think like
yes,
we've said that in so many ways, like just
yes,
talking about who we are, like having those boundaries,
it's so important.
So it's just,
It's
letting
so important.
just knowing who you are, knowing, because that's like step one to, setting those boundaries with people is knowing who you are, what is your vision for your life, what you like and what you don't like. So when
Right,
people do come among you, and
right.
you can see where those same things align and where they don't align.
Yes. Yes. I
Mhm.
think y'all, we don't know how many other ways to say it, so I'm not gonna drill it more anymore. I don't know how else to say it.
Mhm. Oh, we should
So
definitely do a show on boundaries. Oh, like really get
because
in depth.
that's my
Okay.
favorite
Yeah.
line. I will
Yeah.
boundary the flippers off of you, child.
Yeah.
I'll be like, that would be called a boundary. And that,
Mhm.
and then meanwhile, you give me one boundary, I'll be like, you know what, we're not friends anymore. I can't do this.
And, and
So
what's crazy, I think I had to learn boundaries, but it's just
yeah,
like, I think naturally I set boundaries because I'm
yeah,
such like a closed off person.
same.
But I think I had to learn how to just kind of open
Respect.
myself up and then set those boundaries where
Yeah.
needed because I just had like default boundaries. It was just like, just kind of like
Right.
stop right there. Like, I'm
Stop
not
right
even
there.
going to let you in anywhere around here. So, yeah, so I
Nope,
think we
and
need
not.
to change that.
So next week, guess what we'll talk about? We'll talk about boundaries, but
Mhm. Mm.
simultaneously, we're going to be working on. Tell them, Nisha.
Yeah, we've been working on budgeting, right?
Yes,
Like
and we're gonna
we
put that
yeah. So, just kind of like just who we are, like the things that we've gone through and the things that we figured out that worked for us. We want to be able
mhm,
to give that information to you guys too so it can help you as well. And budgeting
absolutely
is one thing that, I think that helped both of us, just develop a better relationship with our money and our finances. And it put us in such a better situation, a better, you know, comfort zone,
So I
if I
was
could
telling
say.
Nisha, yeah, somewhat. So I was telling
Yeah.
Nisha yesterday, I was like, "Yo, so sis, you got to lead it. We're gonna put it on. What's the name of the platform where we're gonna put
It's
like,
gonna be on Patreon.
oh yes, and we're gonna
It's
run
at
a series,
patreon.com, and it'll be called Raising the Bar, of course, and we'll definitely give you guys the information on how to find it.
right?
And all the details will be there, but it's something that we're definitely working on. We want you guys to be a part of it, come and support us, because we are here to help and we are here to try to give something back to our community.
Right.
So we really appreciate it if you guys come and support us. And we'll be giving you
Yeah.
guys more details in the next coming weeks with that. So yeah.
Okay, so to piggyback a little bit on that, I'm writing notes, y'all, and then when I hit mute, my son is home, so I'm calling his name. I'm like making sure he ain't in there tearing nothing up. So just bear with me. You see, like multitasking. So the summer is going to be really interesting for y'all
Yeah.
because the kids will be home, and so we're trying to figure out how do we go all summer without not talking to y'all
All right.
because the kids are home. So we're gonna
Mhm.
have to learn how to maneuver, maybe get up early. I don't know. We're gonna work through that though. So that'll be exciting. So next week, like she said, we'll kind of talk about boundaries. And then we will go into a series about budgeting. And that'll be maybe like a 3 to 5 week series where we kind of giving out and Patreon is kind of something where you support us and you kind of can get extra tools that the free podcast doesn't offer. And we're not talking about nothing serious, we're like talking about $5, $7, $10, something simple where we can kind of give y'all tools that help with budgeting. And Nisha is going to lead us into some financial success. And it's not that I don't have financial successes, it's just that I'm still learning and I'm still a little more free with my budget. I'm still a little bit more like for 90 days, I act right to get my house. And
Mhm.
then I'd be like,
But you definitely gotta let us know, like, the strategies that you use within those 90 days too,
yes,
because,
yes, yes,
even
yes.
even though, like, you may struggle with making that a
Long
lifelong,
term. Right,
long-term
right.
habit, someone can take what it is that you do and be like, "Oh, I can do that," and they can
Yeah,
apply it, and they can,
yes.
try
And
it
it's a
out for
habit,
themselves.
y'all. It's like it's something that you have to learn. So be patient with yourself. And I'm
Mhm,
probably overly patient with myself if I'm being honest. Like I got to put a little bit more I got to put my foot to the fire a little bit more. And I'm hoping like in marriage that I can transition and
mhm.
be a little bit more submissive in that area. It's so funny. We were talking about that. Me and Oscar were talking about that the other day and I'm like, let's just play that by ear.
Right?
So anyways, we
Mhm,
want to go over some things that are going to help me because I'm transitioning back to a married woman. And that's a journey in itself because I think it's just like a mental you learn, okay, being single, you learn how to survive. You learn how to do things that work for you. So going back into a marriage, now I'm having to come back and be as one and learn how to have a common goal and achieve it, without fussing every 5 minutes, so
Mhm.
that'll be new for me. Anyways, so that's what we're doing. That's what we're
Mhm.
going over. I'm trying not to blabber and talk y'all to life, talk y'all to life. We're using our words too. So we're gonna learn how
Right.
to use our words. Nope. We're gonna learn how to use our words and make and paint this life that we desire. We're gonna manifest. Okay.
Mhm.
All
Yep.
right. Back to you. Anything?
That's it. Oh, I know this may be like off subject, but I was just thinking about something like, you know
What?
me, oh, my little ADHD brain. No,
Same.
okay. So this will probably be the last thing to like close us out. All right. So me and Chris was talking the other day, right? And he has a friend, right, that is single and dating, right? Now, since you're coming out of the dating world now, but you were once there. So he has this friend that's telling him that, he took a girl out to eat, right? And she orders the most expensive thing on the menu.
Yes, I
And
like her
doesn't even
already.
like finish it or whatever.
And
So
I
he
won't.
was just like, is that inconsiderate of women to order the most expensive thing on the menu when a guy takes you out? And I was like, no, not necessarily, because if she's used to treating herself to the most expensive things on the menu, then why would she change it up for the guy? And it's up to the guy to decide if he wants to continue taking her out. Right?
Right.
What
Right.
do you think? Do you think that it's inconsiderate for women to order the most expensive thing on the menu?
Absolutely not. And if I'm out here and you're complaining about a meal, one meal on the menu,
Bye.
because it literally couldn't have been, and why you bring me here if you
Mhm.
was worried about what the price was on the menu, okay?
Right. Yeah.
So if it was a $50 that, I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. I'm saying that you asked me to come to dinner with you, and I ain't going to McDonald's. I don't take myself to McDonald's, and so
Mhm.
I'm not going to McDonald's. I don't know what kind of caliber woman she is, but I love her already. Okay.
Right. It sounds like
You,
you have standards, right? It's your standards.
that's
You
it.
set your standards, and
That's
that
it. I
and
take
is not
myself to dinner
inconsiderate at
and I don't
all.
finish, and I might
Right.
not want to take it home. Maybe
Right.
it sucked. Really ask her if the meal sucked. She might not want to take it home because the meal wasn't good. It's
Mhm.
that simple. It ain't got
Right.
nothing to do with respect. But what I'm learning out here is that these men think everything is about
Mhm.
respect on their name.
Yeah. It's like you gotta earn
So,
the respect. I don't know, like, we just, like, we had a debate on that, like, we were going back and
so
forth,
what
and I
was
was
the
like, "You
final
know what?"
answer? How did Chris feel?
Well, after okay, because I pretty much said like what you said, right? And it was from my perspective, it was about standards. Like from him being a guy, he's like, well, that's inconsiderate. Like, if I ask you out and like, you're not even considering, the price and all this stuff,
You
and you're
asked
not
me
gonna
out.
right, you asked me out, right? And and my thing was is that okay, why if you take me out, if I go out somewhere to eat, why would I not enjoy myself just to make you
Only for a
comfortable with
dollar.
spending your money? You know what I mean? So it's like if if I want the steak and tenders, I'm gonna get the steak and tenders. If I
Period.
want the lobster tail, I'm gonna get a lobster tail. And
Period.
it's up to you, the guy who asked me out, that's paying it, to decide like, okay, her price point is a little too high. I can't match that. Right?
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
It but it oh, so
Mhm. Yeah.
if you picked her up, and I'm trying to give a good example. If you pick her up and she drive a 99 Civic, and y'all, it's 2023. So a 99 Civic, even if you trying to save money, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna drive a 99 Civic, okay?
Mhm.
So you pick her up in a 99 Civic and she wants to order steak and potatoes on the menu. that is offensive. But if you pick her up and you see she has standards, she lives in a nice place, she has a nice apartment, she has a nice car. These are the standards she has set for herself.
Mhm.
Whether she's in debt or not, she has set these standards for herself. And when you asked her on the date, you didn't take her to McDonald's, you took her to a nice restaurant. So
Mhm.
what do you expect?
Right,
What do you
exactly.
expect?
Yeah.
Why is it offensive to you that I order what was on the menu?
Right. Exactly, and why should I lower my standards just to be considerate of you or to make you feel comfortable taking me
Right,
out? You see
right,
what I'm saying? So it's
right.
like so
But
a lesson to these guys out there, if you are dating and you want to take a woman out to dinner, they have Google now, and Google has the menu of that restaurant. So
yeah,
what you need to do, you need to go look at that menu, look at the prices, see what is the most expensive thing on that menu, and then you need to decide, can I afford that? Can
right.
I afford to take her there? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Don't
We
go
are
there
preparing.
hoping that she only gonna get an appetizer as her main meal.
Hungry. We love
Right.
to eat. That's what we can't
Yes.
we thought the world of you to take us to
Mhm.
dinner, honey. We're excited about
Right.
food.
Exactly. And like and honestly, like, they say like the key to a man's heart is through his stomach. No, like a key to a woman's heart is through her stomach too. Because if you can provide
Yes,
me with food, like
yes,
that's you taking care of me right there. Like if you can
yes.
feed me, like that means that that's a resource that you have that I need to survive. So that's check one.
Check,
Right.
check.
Check, you know.
Period. And she
Right.
and you wanna know, and it's not that a cheap person because Oscar is cheap and he can afford to take me to
Don't
any
call him cheap.
restaurant, but
He's frugal.
no, he's cheap,
He's
baby.
cheap.
My man is cheap, but where it matter, okay?
Right.
So he's cheap, and you would think that he is broke, if I'm being honest, the way he carries himself, but he finds other things important. Let me tell you how he does, and I feel like it's preparing. I feel like it's strategic. Guess where he won't take me? To an expensive restaurant. And you want to know why? You want to know how many times he has taken me to what's that place? I don't know. It's some kind of Chinese type restaurant where they serve hibachi, baby. And
Mhm,
hibachi's not necessarily that cheap, but it's not Chris or Ruth's Steakhouse or whatever, which
mhm.
we've been there too. Let me tell you why. I didn't get a Ruth Chris Steakhouse until we had been together for 3 years. So he got sense enough to say, listen, I'm going to take you to dinner, but I'm not going to take you to these expensive places because I don't want you to order what's on the menu. So it's up to the man to
Mhm.
prepare. If you're going to take her to Cheesecake Factory, that means she can order what's on the menu. Otherwise, why are we sitting here? If you're
Right.
on a McDonald's budget, take me to McDonald's, you
Yeah.
know? Take me
Exactly.
where you can afford. And so that's what
Mhm,
that man did. He took me for many years to where he could afford. And was
mhm.
it, I always have to ask out of budget. I'd be like, can we please go to Natalia's, Can we
Mhm.
please go to this different place? So I
Right.
had to ask. So be the man
Mhm.
and say where it is that you really stand in life instead of trying to trick me and put me on the hook
Right.
that you ain't got. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
That does that sum that up? Because I
Mhm.
love a free meal,
It
child,
does.
and there's some out here that will give you meals and they ain't got no shirt to put on your back.
Mhm.
They'll take you out to $100 dinners and they can't afford to take you anywhere.
Right.
In life, they can't afford to
Mhm.
take you anywhere in life. They can't put you in a home. They can't help you buy a car. They can't do any of those things. So another lesson to the woman is make sure that it's not all about the food either.
Mhm.
He needs to be offering you something more than dinner, but that's a good start.
Right. That's a
Order
good
what you
start.
want, sis.
Exactly.
Order
Set
what
your
you want.
standards. It's okay to have standards because it's like
It
now that this whole narrative that like women now are just like, they got the boss B attitude, you know what I mean? Like they
and they hate it. Men hate it.
right. Yeah, and men hate it because it's like, we women are setting their standards and they are upholding themselves to their standards.
Yep.
And now men are having to raise themselves and to meet those standards if they want to get a decent woman now. So it's
Yeah.
like if you want a
Yeah.
decent woman, you're gonna have to raise your level so that you can meet those
But some of
standards.
them ain't raising the bar. I mean, I'm talking about Jaleesa. That's my other best friend, y'all. So it's Yana, Jaleesa, and Wonesha. Those are
Mhm,
like those are my riders right there. So Nisha,
mhm,
they not raising the bar. Now they bringing home what they supposed to be playing with. You're supposed
mhm,
to just play in the streets with that one. Why are you trying to wipe her? Because you don't want to waste her standards. So you
mhm,
have to. It's a game, y'all. It's strategic game so that you're not a boss chick with everything you can dream of, but a man. You
mhm,
want to be an educated woman with a man. So
mhm,
there's such a fine line. There's such a grace that you also have to carry if he can't take you out to dinner, that you're graceful enough to say, why can't you take me out to dinner? Is it because you're saving for your first home or
mhm.
you're trying to pay off your home? Get a little bit more details. Don't just
Right.
be
Get
like,
some
you
detail.
broke, get out
Right.
of here.
Yeah. Like he broke, he ain't about nothing. Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up too, because there are men out there that they're trying to raise themselves. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They are trying to get to that level where they can be, financially stable to where they can take on a wife and a family. They're trying to get there. And,
right,
in today's world, Black men have always had a difficult time, getting to that level. So it's difficult for them out here in the
go.
streets. So
I'll be
as
out in a
women,
minute.
we have to we
I'll be
have
out
to
in a
be
minute.
mindful of that too. And
Yes.
it all starts with a
No.
conversation. So if a guy approaches you and he may not look the part or whatever, or you may feel like, oh, he just broke. Like she said, ask questions. You know what I mean? He may
Right.
have a 5-year plan. You know what I mean? So he don't, him taking you out to his restaurant and you ordering the most expensive thing on the menu is offensive to him because he has a plan. He's like, okay, like I'm trying to purchase a house and
Right.
invest in, and I'm trying to save money for something bigger. And here you are wasting money on these little chicken tenders, whatever,
Right.
just bring them home
Right.
or
So just get
whatever.
to the bottom. Get
Get
to
to
the
the
bottom of
bottom of
it.
it, ask those questions, see where his head is, because I mean, hell, that's my husband. Like, I mean, he would rather me cook at home than us go out to eat,
Mhm.
and of course I know this about him, for as long as we've been together, like, he would rather take me shopping for clothes. And I'm like, I don't want to buy clothes. I want to eat. Like, that was like the basis of a lot of our arguments, like in the early days. Like, he's like, okay, like, let's go shopping, let's do this, and we'll walk around for 3 hours, and like I don't buy anything, and then he's like, okay, well, we finna go home, and I'm like, we ate yet,
Right. I've been
like,
doing all this walking. I wanna eat.
like I just saved you $300 shopping, so I mean, at least you can do take me out to eat, but
But you
that's
see
just us.
how there's just a different view, and he
Hmm.
has good intentions. He
Right.
wants to see his baby dressed up nice. But
Hmm.
you're like,
I'm
bump
like,
all
feed
that.
me.
That's not love. I want you
Right.
to feed me. That's how I feel love. So we're paying attention to those signs and we're able to maneuver based on the signs that are given. And that's not easy because Oscar just told me the other day, he's like, why do I have to tell you I love you every day? And he was like, I feel like that's an insecurity. And I'm like, no, it's just my love language. I want you to tell me every day.
Right. You wanna
He's
hear
like,
it.
I
It's
do tell you
words
when
of
I send you
affirmation.
lunch money and when I send you gas money, and when you're at the store and you be like, send me some money for the kids' toys, and I send it. That's love.
Mhm,
I don't have to tell you I love
mhm,
you. That's me
yeah.
saying I love you. And I'm like,
But I still wanna
okay,
hear it. Like, I get it,
right.
but I still wanna
Right.
hear
I
it.
get it. But that's me being able to maneuver and saying,
Mhm,
you know what? Okay, that's fine.
mhm,
But I'm maneuvering in an effort to meet both of our needs, and it's a constant battle for both of y'all to be on the same page. And so we're asking y'all to use your common sense and figure out, is he really broke or is it offensive because he has a goal? That's
right.
what we're asking y'all to do. Okay.
Yes. Alrighty.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
we've
So,
we've held y'all long enough, old folks be
yes.
like, "I ain't gonna hold you."
Oh, and then we keep talking for another
Right.
hour. And you
Of
see my
course.
son, he keep popping up. What are you doing? What are you doing? So Back again next week. We'll talk about boundaries, and asking those hard questions. And when you're in relationships, guess what? When you first meet him, before y'all start doing sinning and sleeping together, which I'm also guilty of. I have a son out of wedlock, by the way. You can ask him what his credit score is. You can ask him these things. So we're learning boundaries next week. We're learning about asking those hard questions and setting
Mhm.
those boundaries for yourself. So this was a good setup for next week.
Right.
Nisha, I think
And then also I'll add to that too, with you ask it's okay to ask him what his credit score is, and he can also set a boundary by not telling you.
he can.
He can. So boundaries,
Did
remember,
y'all see my face?
yeah,
Did y'all see my face? Okay. He
boundaries,
can.
they go both ways. Boundaries do
They
go
do.
both ways, but then that also ties into your discernment as well.
Yes.
So if you have a
So we're gonna
boundary
hook
to
y'all up
where
next week.
I want to know your credit score and he says I'm not going to tell you, then that's not where
Mm,
you need to be. Because
we're
hell,
gonna
a
dive
credit score
deeper.
is personal. I don't want to tell nobody my credit score. I don't care how good it is. It could be
My nookie is personal, but you're over here asking me for it. So how about what's your credit score?
yeah.
Because what you're not gonna get is some of me and what's personal to me at 558.
Yeah,
Get
right.
out of
And
here.
see, look, those boundaries go both ways. He's like, if I tell you my credit score, you gotta give me the noonie. And you're like, no.
Nope. So
Those
that's what
boundaries,
we're talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
next week.
yeah.
No, Nisha, stop. We're gonna talk about it next week. We're gonna talk about it next week because this is gonna be good. So
Yes.
next week, on
All
next week,
right.
boundaries. Okay, we'll
Yes.
talk about it,
Bye,
and we're working on
everyone.
that.
Thank you.
Bye
And
bye.
remember to like and subscribe, follow us on YouTube and Instagram, and join our Facebook group, Raising the Bar. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see
Thank
y'all next
you.
week. Bye.
Okay, bye.